Welcome back. Andrew from Qualified in Noise and Mess, building whilst having a brain tumour. And this is my roof. And it's the end of week 2. So rather than doing lots of tedious videos showing boring things like taking tiles off the roof, which was, you wouldn't believe how tedious and painful, I'll do a summary video at the end of the week, and it's Sunday the 2nd of August. So there we go. So all the tiles are off now, and we've got thousands of them. And these tiling battens have sort of removed themselves. They are so brittle. They're not rotten, they're just brittle. You just need to look at them the wrong way and they'll just break. And the broken ones are stored next door. And they will make very good firewood at some point. So I'm slowly getting ready for my brickie to start on Wednesday coming. And so what I did yesterday, well, towards the end of the day, is to take off the rafter tails, okay, which go over bird's mouthed onto the wall plate. It's probably best seen on that one. The longer ones go over, sit on top of a purlin here and then go up. The shorter ones don't, they just go to the hip board. That is the corner. All right, let me just show you. All right, so eaves, hip, ridge. Okay, we'll come to all that later on. So today's task, and it's warming up, is to get this wall plate off because, excuse the clanking, it's the board. This is where Matt the brickie is going to be building bricks, blocks. Let me show you. Stopping our lawn floating away. Bricks, blocks. The bricks are Carlton Pinhole Priory, 73mm, and the blocks are Fiberlight, 7.3 Newton blocks, for those of you that are interested. So I've just got to make nice even access, because when Matt turns up, Matt the super brickie, basically, what the hell is that? It's a bit of tile. Don't want that. I can go there. Basically, I don't want him to have to wait around while I do lots of preparation. I just want him to turn up, turn his mixer on, get a mix going, and then get some brickwork up. That's what I'm aiming at. So, my major concern, just excuse me 1 second. My major concern has been the hip board, because the rafters, pretty much without exception, are all attached to it. And I've got to kind of cut the corner away, because, actually I'll show you at the other end, it's easier to see. Clank, 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 clank. Because that is the bathroom plasterboard on the bathroom ceiling. So if I were to cut it away here, that's got very little support. So what I've done inside, and I'll show you in a minute, is to put some, not perfect, but some diagonal bracing on. And what I'm going to do here, it's not going to be easy, is I'm putting a corner block in, so screwed through securely and then located onto this, so that if the hip board wants to drop, it's got to move that as well. Well, it's not going to be easy. So I'm very, very concerned about A, water ingress, and B, lack of support, because I am intentionally damaging the structure of my roof. Not for the faint-hearted, but where I can put additional support, I am doing so. That is the door wall of my son's bedroom. So I've just packed it up and put a couple of support timbers there, just to give that section of the roof a bit more than it's got at the moment. And then likewise, when I get to this point, this is the bathroom door wall. It's a stud wall, so I'll do the same here. Bit of a block here, bit of blocking, and then support underneath. And that's as much as I can do, pretty much. This is the ceiling binder, and basically all the ceiling joists go that way, back, front, and they are nailed to the two of these, one here and one there. So if I cut that support away, even though it's only on there by less than an inch, then all that weight is on the ceiling joists, and that is not very well supported, I have to say. I mean, it's adequate, but it's not fantastic. And then I can't quite see what's going on there. In theory, they go onto the wall plate, although they probably don't. So there we go. All right, have we got one here we can see? No, we haven't. Well, we'll see them later. Right, let's go inside and I'll show you what's going on in there. Oh yes, one further thing. This is blown insulation, this fluffy stuff. I don't know what it's made of. And it was all over the place when I took the lid off. All this stuff was everywhere. So I've pushed it back into the cavity, and what I'm going to do in some way or other is to put either a cavity sock in, all sorts of weird regulations about that. It has to be fireproof, but it's wrapped in a polythene bag. Polythene isn't, of course, fireproof. It's ridiculous. But then above it, we're going to have cavity wall bats, which are made of rock wool, which isn't flammable. There's some really stupid building regulations, or that on the face of it are stupid, and maybe some cognitive thought behind them, but on first reading you think, why are you doing that? It's ridiculous. Ho hum, ours is not to reason why. So anyway, right, let's go inside. Okay, coming up the stairs, one landing. I'll need to vacuum this before the end of the day because it's a bit grimy and dusty. Right, okay, up into the loft. Let me put the lights on. There we go. So you've seen it from the outside, see it from the inside. We have a very big open space. Okay, oops. Yeah, get somewhere I can sit down. Oh, that's better. So that's the side we were walking along. That's the front, and behind the camera is the back. Now then, this long piece of timber here is the ceiling binder, which I was just talking about. And here's the other one. And it's supported in the wall over there. And notionally on the wall plate, but not by very much. What can I do about that? Right, need to know how buildings work. We have, and most houses do, have a spine wall somewhere. Okay, so that's ours, and it's, as you can see, brick. So that is along the edge of the hall, and that is the division between the front bedroom and the back bedroom, and also lounge and dining room. Okay, got that? That's something we can use to our advantage. Okay, because it is load bearing. Oh, right. My knees are getting too old for this. Okay, so what I want to do is to give this more support. What did I do? Right. Ooh, overwhelming smell of mouse wee. Yeah, something we have to contend with, but I've got a plan for that. Anyway, right, so let me introduce you to the concept of sliding wedges. So you get a piece of wood, that's a piece of 3x2, and you, let me draw this out for you, it'll be easier if I do, pencil. Right, so piece of wood, okay, that's not very visible. There you go, let's get some lighting in it. Ah, there we go. Right, and you cut across it, and they say the recommended is less than 10 degrees. I've done it at 15. And that's what we have there. It's because it's a practical way of doing it. And then the cut surfaces you put together, and basically you put it in your hole, knock that one that way, knock that one that way, and they slide over each other, hence the name. All right, so you will end up with a situation. Oh dear, cut them better than that. Like that, where you've got one wedge that slid over the other, smacked. And because I'm dealing with the cut face, there's a lot of friction. If I was using the machined face, there wouldn't be as much. And then you can smack them together and it will take the load of what's above it, or it will lift it up. And it's a very good way of jacking something up where you couldn't get, say, a hydraulic jack in, which of course I can't here because the only height I've got is the height of a ceiling joist, which is about 4 inches, 100 millimeters or just below. So what I've done is smack them in to take some load. And the beauty of using this is those two faces are parallel. Smack them in, those two faces are still parallel. So anything that I'm doing is going to be raised vertically because the top and bottom face are still parallel. So, and they will always stay like that, assuming you've cut your angle correctly. So that's that. So I've done that there, and I've done it over there. You can just see it. I brace myself there. Okay. So that has, in theory, taken some of the load of the ceiling binders. Right, that's not the end of the story. Okay, so I can sit on this quite comfortably. Right, so here is our hip board, the corner board, the one I showed you where I'm cut away at the corner and there's no support. And I thought, well, I've got to put some additional support in, but I can't do it. Can't brace off any of these ceiling joists because they're not supported by anything. They're free floating. They're supported, well, in theory, on the middle wall, that bit, which doesn't extend over there, or held up by the ceiling binder, or they run over onto the outside wall. Okay, so I want to get, basically I've weakened the roof structure by cutting the ends of the rafter tails off. Right, now they do, I'll just reposition, oh excuse me, they do go over the purlin here, which you can just about see, and that runs all the way around the roof. So so they're nailed onto the hip board at the top. They're supported by the purlin, and they're supported by the wall plate. All right. So I've chopped one of the supports off. Not the cleverest thing to do. My major concern was that when I come to do further work, and there's a lot to do, the whole of this roof is getting replaced piecemeal. So what I wanted to do was to put an additional support in, just for the sake of Oh, excuse me. Oh, it's nice to sit down. Can I? Yes. Oh, so what I've done, and it's not the best, but it's better than what was there before. That gap there is where the spine wall runs. You can see the tops of the bricks. Okay, that's good. Yep. So I put a noggin between those two ceiling joists. The brick is the gap in between, right? And then put a diagonal brace up to the hip board. Okay, so that's under tension. So it was made slightly oversized and smacked in. And although this piece of timber is not the thickest, I'm using it in its strongest dimension, which is in compression. All right, so done that. So that's screwed on securely. Sorry, the lighting in here is atrocious. So that's screwed into the hip board securely, because we're talking about, you know, if I accidentally smack it, don't want it falling out. Now at the bottom, it's screwed into wee little noggin, and I've just cut a little vertical face here and put this foot support diagonally, so that it can't kick out that way, can't slide out. I mean, it's screwed into the noggin, and that is screwed in. So the hip board has got more support than it would otherwise have, because that's my son's bedroom ceiling. There is nowhere I can put any support, and I do not want to put any additional load onto his ceiling, because all this lot's got to come out. So there we are. So that is the state of progress at the end of week 2. A lot of very tedious work. Oh, and as you know, I've been operated on for a brain tumour, malignant brain tumour, glioblastoma, grade 4, which is technically a fatal diagnosis. And I'm on what's known as maintenance chemo. And so I've been every 23 days or so, I get to take some really intensive chemo for a week. And I started cycle 6 yesterday, Saturday the 1st of August. But a learning that I've come across is that if you take it in the evening or before bedtime, then, well, for me, the major concern is fatigue. I suffer from fatigue from just about everything. It's really annoying. And so I reasoned, hopefully correctly, that if I'm going to suffer from fatigue, it's going to be while I'm asleep. Well, that's okay. So if I'm asleep, I'm going to be asleep more. And I woke up feeling pretty good this morning. And although I've sat down with a cup of coffee mid-morning, well, who doesn't, or tea, I feel pretty good. And I mean, I'll be tired by the end of the day, but I feel pretty good. So there we are. So yeah, lots of work to do to get ready for Matt. And talking to camera is probably something I should not be doing. I should be doing work. I'm not going to show you boring cutting timbers and wrestling with nails and whatnot, because it's just boring. The exciting things are yet to come, and you will see those. So anyway, like, subscribe, comment, please. The usual stuff. Mine is not a very big channel, but I'd be grateful for any help that I can get from anybody, anywhere, at any time. So thank you very much. Cheers now.